CSS is usually the way to go when it comes to animating elements. It's the simplest way of adding animations. At times, you may need more control over the animation. In that case, controlling an animation with JavaScript might be what you need. Vue allows you to animate your elements with JavaScript. It doesn't take much work to get started. Vue will provide you with 3 hooks to use for both entering and leaving animations. The entering animations are used for when the element is being inserted into the DOM. There's the before enter hook, which is triggered before the animation starts. This hook allows you to prepare for anything you might need. Then there's the enter hook, which is where you would perform the animation itself. This hook is where most of your code will be written. Lastly, there's the after enter hook, which is called when the animation is finished. This allows you to do cleanup if necessary. The leaving animations are used for when an element is being removed from the DOM. You have the before leave hook, which is triggered before the animation starts. The leave hook is where you would perform the animation. Lastly, the after leave hook is used after the animation is complete. Let's explore how to create animations with JavaScript. We'll work in the app components again. I recommend commenting out the transition component we currently have in the document. We don't want it to bother us when working on JavaScript animations. First things first, we need to use the transition component. We'll add it below the other transitions. Inside this component, we'll add the usual heading with the flag conditional check. We want to animate the transition. This time we'll want to do it purely with JavaScript. We can use hooks to handle the animation with JavaScript. They can be added by adding event listeners to the transition component. Let's add those in quickly. To recap, the events are called before enter, enter, after enter, before leave, leave, and after leave. We can run some functions whenever these events are emitted. We're going to pass in some functions for each event. We'll receive an error because the functions are undefined. We'll add them soon enough. The events I'm showing you are the ones we'll primarily be working with. There are 2 additional events I didn't cover. They are called the canceled events. It is possible to cancel an animation. Similar to the enter and leave events, you can listen for when an animation is canceled. We'll listen for those events which are the enter canceled and leave canceled events. These events are canceled whenever their respective animations are canceled. Not often used, but they are available if you need them. We're going to remove them because we're not going to look at canceling animations at the moment. Let's define the functions that will run when the animation starts for both phases. Inside the component object, we'll define the methods property. Next, we're going to define each function inside the methods object. The function names should match the names you passed in the events inside the transition component. We will have a total of 6 functions. Each function is passed in an object called element. The element argument contains information about the element that is currently being animated. You have complete freedom to change any of the properties on this object. You'll need it if you want to apply your own animations. We'll accept this inside each function. There is one more argument we can add. The parameter I'm about to introduce can only be used in 2 of the 6 functions. They would be the enter and leave functions. Both functions must accept in the done argument. The done argument we're being passed in is a function. You're meant to perform the animation in both functions, but Vue won't know when your animation is complete. The done function is a callback function that will tell Vue that the animation is finished playing. After this function has been called, Vue will proceed with adding or removing the element. You must call this function, or else Vue won't be able to do its job properly. We're going to call this function in both hooks. Our other functions are empty. Let's log a message in each of them with the element parameter. These long statements will let us know when the functions run. Switching over to the browser, we will see the heading appear since the flag property is set to true. If we take a look at the console, nothing will appear. If I press the button, the heading will be removed. The leave hooks are running in the order you would expect them to. First is the before leave hook, followed by the leave hook, and lastly, we have the after leave hook. Pressing the button once more will trigger the enter events. Once again, they're in the proper order. First is the before enter hook, followed by the enter hook, and lastly, we have the after enter hook. Currently, we're not animating anything. Let's start creating some animations in the next lecture.